Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. 10:24, Colorado time. Eastern Slope. Overcast. Cool temperatures, 50 degrees. Been in the 40s all night. It's not supposed to get any warmer than 50 right now, I don't believe. Might get a couple degrees warmer. The weather forecast is, I'm kind of a meteorologist. My podcast, I seem to talk about the weather in the beginning now. I don't know why. But we're supposed to stay cool to cold to rainy to snow on Monday. Down to 6,000 feet, I think. We're not far from that here, so it'll be interesting. But anyway, fall is here. It's not winter. It's just fall. It's supposed to do this. Not to be alarmed. Drinking my coffee. I bought this half and half. I don't know. I guess I must be breaking down a little bit, huh? But I bought this half and half coffee. Half the caffeine, I guess, is the point. And it's really pretty good. I'm enjoying it every day. I get up and look forward to having it because it's got caffeine, and I must be craving a little bit of caffeine that's in there. Don't know. So I just hopped in my truck. It's 10:24, but I've been up since early, busy blogging, talking, doing all my work, whatever the heck I do. And so head out east a couple miles here to the house. Take a look at the house. It's a good place to do a podcast. Yesterday I was listening to our podcast and I was picking up a lot of road noise. I just have the iPhone, what do they call them? Earbuds, that I use all the time. And they never used to pick up so much noise, road noise. I got the windows up. Yeah, the windows are up. But I don't know, I'll pay attention to that. It only goes on for a few minutes until we get out to the house, and then I shut the engine off and slow down and stop, and then we don't have anything noise-wise. But my apologies, I'm working on that. I'm going to learn something about technology and all this stuff and see if I could remedy that road noise. I guess I could get a better truck that's more soundproof. All right, so podcast today, Aloneness with the homeless. I didn't intend that to be funny, or I didn't intend that to rhyme. It just happened to do that. So I go to this gym every day, do my little workout, clean up, whatever. And there's homeless people in there. I mean, there are. They go in, and it's a public place, so, they can shower and shave and clean up. And not that they do. There's not any great numbers of them, but, every day there's a couple, 2, 3 homeless people when I'm around. And I always try to make a point of saying, good morning. How are you? How's your day? And they really don't want to talk to me, to be quite honest. But they respond. Half of them do. And I've been always curious about that. They always kind of stay to themselves. There's the neighborhood where the club is has the homeless shelters, and I don't know, there's some other places down there that the homeless hang out. I don't know, maybe they get food, or I'm not sure what they get down there. Like Catholic charities, and So they're always roaming around the streets in that neck of the woods. And they're able to go to this community center of sorts to take a shower every day, but they don't. Well, not very many of them. I believe it's $23 a month. You get 30 days, whatever that is. And if it overlaps, it just goes 30 days, and you pay another $23. So that's under $1 a day if you want it to shower and shave and clean up and, maybe be a little presentable for a possible job interview or something. But anyway, maybe they don't have $23. I know homeless people make money. They all get odd jobs, where they get cash, cutting grass, working on yards. There's all those, what do they call them? Job centers where you can get day labor. I don't know. I think you only make like $40 take home a day or something, but I think they have $23 if they wanted to spend $23. But, the podcast I'm doing today is about aloneness, solitude. I'm going to write another article about solitude later today, but they sort of don't want to be a part of society. This is my observation. I'm not saying it's at all accurate. I do research, right? That's my job. I do research in neuroscience. And I pay attention to everybody, and I pay attention to the homeless people, and I try to interact with them and find out what's going on, and, blah, blah, blah. That's what I do. That's my job. I don't get paid for it, but that's what I do. And they don't seem, in my opinion, to want to be a part of society. Now, I understand we're all supposed to contribute to society and participate in our lives and all that kind of thing. But they like to generally be alone. Now, be alone as homeless people, one, because you'll see them congregating amongst themselves, not necessarily in big groups, but in, 2s and 3s, and once in a while you'll see 6 or 7 of them together, but I think they just do that for support amongst themselves. How you doing? Anything new? What's happening? The world sucks or whatever, and it goes on like that. I'm a religious guy. I go to church. Try to go to church every day or so, but I don't see them at church. I mean, I would imagine they go to all different kinds. They're all different religions and whatnot, but I don't see them there either. I don't see them. Well, I see them at the food bank, because that's in the neighborhood, and you drive by it, and there's always a line a block long for people to get in and get their food and stuff. There's actually quite a few food banks in this town, and I think they rummage around from one to the other all the time, constantly getting more food. And their housing is, I don't understand the housing, but I think they get housing, meaning, there's shelters that they can go to and stay, and if they don't screw up or do something really weird, that's where they stay. Boy, the house, here I am again. I'm about 3/4 of a mile from the house, and it just sits like a mansion. It sits like a castle. It sits It's not a castle. It's a house. But it's huge. And it overshadows and dwarfs all the other homes in the neighborhood. The roof line is, let me see, half again as high as the 1, 2, 3, 4 houses alongside of it. It's gigantic. They started painting some of the siding, the shingled siding, and it's kind of a grayish color. It's very, very attractive. They haven't put the roof up yet, meaning I don't know what color the roof's going to be. But it's a fabulous house. It's fabulous. It's coming along so good. They're inside for the most part. You know, they're trying to get it buttoned up before cold weather and snow comes. But anyway, I'm going to drive on around, and as I always do every day, and just check it out and make sure everybody's okay and see if there's any needs or wants or whatever. But so back to the podcast, homeless and aloneness. I'm just wondering, are they angry? You know, are they angry? Are they angry at society? Are they angry at the world, at people of authority, you know, just people in general? I don't know. I don't know. I've never... Well, I guess I have had an opportunity to talk at some length to a few of them. And they are pretty angry, and they are hurt, and they feel that they have... Oh, gosh, I don't know if the word is victimized, but, you know, they seem to feel like they have had a very hard life. And maybe they have. I don't know. I listen to the stories, but, you know, the stories of a hard life that the ones I've spoken to, you know, that doesn't sound any different than my life. And, you know, I suppose there's been times in my life I've said, boy, I've had a hard life, but yeah, it's the way it goes, I guess. So the other thought I had was, have they just figured things out better than we have? Do they know something that we don't know? Right? I mean, are they there because of the economy? You know, economy sucks. Work has been down. You know, that last president, I don't even know if he was called a president, but, you know, he did such a worthless job. I don't even know if he'll even go down in history as a president. But, you know, there was, you know, no work, no unemployment. Everybody was on entitlement. And are they just discouraged that there's no more entitlement for them? You know, they don't have to do anything and they just get money. That's what that president person, you know, gave everybody was, you know, screw the world here. We're just going to provide for you. And I just wonder if that has something to do with it. You know, being alone all the time, or, you know, is it the economy and there hasn't been any work, or, you know, again, the damn guy just didn't even produce any jobs in America. Talk about a worthless bastard. You know, so the aloneness, is it politics? Yeah, probably, large part. Economics? Yeah, probably, large part. Anger? Gosh darn, there we go again talking about that guy. You know, all he did is cause dissension amongst people, and division amongst people, and anger and hostility. And look at what we're having to fix years later after he's gone. You know, we're trying to still resolve issues of all the dissension and division he's caused, you know, in America and the world for that matter. So I suppose that's part of it too. But think about it. Politics and that unprofessional, incompetent guy that was in office for a while. My thing is, there's times I really enjoy solitude. And I'm guessing you're the same way. I'm guessing there's times where, you sort of feel being alone and having some solitude is not such a bad thing. It's not a terrible, terrible thing. And I'm wondering if they kind of pick up on that a little bit. They don't have to deal with all the self-aggrandizement, the narcissism, the division, the anger, the hostility, the disrespect. I mean, the world's a pretty ugly place. And sometimes, I'm sure you have the thought enter your mind and pass through, maybe for a moment, maybe for a few minutes, maybe it actually sits there for a while that, I'd sure like to get off this train at the next stop and kind of create my own little life. And maybe the whole concept of money, having a car, having a house, it is not worth what some people go through to achieve that, to get that. You guys, this house is, I don't even know how to describe how big this house is. I'm sitting to the west side of it, and it's enormous. I've been in it quite a few times, but it just seems to go forever. So anyway, aloneness. I'm not all that sure that the homeless people that seem to act like they like the aloneness and the solitude, I'm not so sure that it's a totally bad thing. They've been, as near as I can tell from watching people interact with them, most people don't want anything to do with them. And if they give them something, they give them something out of sympathy. And it makes the person, the giver, feel better, so to speak, than the poor person receiving the money. So, I wonder sometimes, they don't want to interact a lot. Well, a lot of that has to do with the anger and the hurt that they've experienced, and I'm sure they have, as we have. And if their hurt is worse than mine, then, so be it. But I get the feeling they just really don't want to be a part of this crazy world. And I don't know, I'm going to say this, as bad and miserable as their lives are, maybe they feel like it's a better deal than being on this side of the fence and experiencing all the ugliness in our world. So aloneness, you guys. I mean, I'm sure you guys all have your own opinion about it, and I'm sure I'm not 100% correct, but I do spend a fair amount of time trying to track these people down, and I watch them, observe them, talk to them, and sometimes in my quiet moments, I might think that maybe they know a little bit more than I do. I know that's not true. but they're in a very difficult, hard situation that they created. I mean, everything that our reality is, we create. I mean, of course, economy and politics play a huge role in it, but they're sitting there, obviously feeling like there's no way out. I'm not sure what my future holds, if they can even dream or think in terms of stuff like that. So the aloneness is a way to reduce the stimulation. Think about it. The stimulation of having to achieve, having to have a house, having to have a car, the work, the stress related to all of that kind of stuff. I've talked to some to where they've just distanced themselves from their families. So, aloneness and solitude. I'm going to do a separate one on solitude, but I think it's a little different than aloneness. If you guys have some thoughts, contact me. I always say stuff like that. Nobody ever contacts me, but from my perspective, I think it's very important that we participate in our lives and contribute to society. Whether we get it all messed up or not, I think it's important that we make that attempt. My perspective is that these people have tried and lacked some of the know-how or wherewithal to do that successfully, and they just dropped out. And the aloneness is a way to reduce stimulation that causes discomfort for them. So being alone and spending time alone, I would guess the stress level is less. And I'm sure as they contemplate, there are the times where they have the thought enter their mind that, boy, those people out there are pretty crazy, man. I'm sure I don't want to be a part of that. And they're pretty happy and content with just living the life that they live. Sad as it might be. So maybe we all can stop a little bit. And I'm not sure I'm advocating giving them money, because I know that's a game, and it's enabling, and it keeps them in the predicament that they're in, right? These people would rather stand on the corner. I'm not even sure it's begging anymore. Excuse me. I think they view it as a job, as a career. And they make $40, $50, $60, in a several hour period. Well, that's not bad money. It's better than working at day labor. So, they've kind of honed their skills into the aloneness approach to life. And maybe some of that stuff is working for them. I'm not sure. If you get a chance, pull your car off to the side and just talk to them. I'm not saying give them money. I don't give them money. Well, I do. I probably give them more money than I should. But we need to stop enabling them so that they see that life is all they have, and they're not trying to get out of it. Look at, and I want to stop this podcast, I'm running really long, but another last thought, I guess, is that look at all the tents lined up in, I believe it's downtown LA or some part of LA on a main street. For as far as you can see, there's homeless people living in tents, and they have a law or city law or ordinance or something to where, what's the word, defecate? They can do that on the street, on the sidewalks. Look at Paris. Paris had a big picture on the internet. Same thing. Just for as far as you could see on one of their main arteries, tents after tents after tents of homeless people doing the same thing, living and surviving and all that kind of thing. So the economy is a lot better right now. There is work out there. I see signs for work everywhere. So then you have to start thinking, this is a choice of a lifestyle some people desire, would rather have. Think about that. Think about that. There's people in those tents that probably don't need to be in those tents. There's people in those tents living on the streets and everything. And in my town, it's getting overrun with homeless people. They're not out there applying for work. Not the ones I talk to, anyway. It's a choice. The aloneness has some attraction to them. Have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Take care of one another. And I'll look forward to talking to you all again real soon. We'll see you. Bye.